It might seem hard to believe now for some baseball fans, but there was a time that players from the National League and American League only faced one another on 2 occasions during the season. The World Series and the All-Star Game, which made those 2 annual classics must-see events for baseball fans.
Yeah, Michael, we're probably the last generation of baseball fans where the All-Star Game had a real tension, excitement, mystery for the reasons you just mentioned. It just doesn't anymore. I still like it, but this was a game that was taken very seriously back in the standard definition days. I mean, not always really serious. As you can see, as the years went along, they didn't take it as serious as Randy Johnson decides to, bring some performance art to the All-Star Game. Buzzing the tower on purpose, but clearly in a safe way against our boy John Kruk with that balsamic vinaigrette all over his hair. And then in '97, Larry Walker, again, just for fun. He knows what he's doing. He's a professional. I love Walker here. He goes to the other side of the box, puts his helmet on backwards, and will actually take a pitch. It'll be high and outside. Randy's like, he's not going to stay there, is he? I guess he is. That's a ball, and then we'll finish the at-bat on the right or left side of the plate. Randy Johnson, performance art.
You got Randy Johnson to laugh. That's pretty good. July 16, 2013, Mariano Rivera pitches a 1-2-3 8th inning in his final All-Star game. He came in like he does at every home game in Yankee Stadium to enter Sandman. The All-Stars from both sides gave him a standing O, and there he is. The crowd as well. Citi Field, nice moment for him in New York, even if it wasn't Yankee Stadium.
President Ronald Reagan used to do those recreation baseball games way back in the day in the booth with Vin Scully when Bo Jackson, at the height of his powers, hit this home run in Anaheim.
I don't know if there's ever been anyone doing that. Hey.
He's remarkable, and look at that one. Bo Jackson says hello.
And goodbye to the baseball with the president in the booth. Jackson will go on to win the MVP.
Number 7, July 9, 2002, Barry Bonds at the plate. And when he hit this pitch, you just thought it was gone because that's pretty much what he did to every baseball back then. But Torrey Hunter from the Twins, they called him Spider-Man for a reason, robbing Bonds of a home run. Slow motion replay there, but the real cool part was when Torrey was leaving the field, Bonds picked him up like he was 10 years old. Just threw him over his shoulder.
It looked so small there.
Wow.
Ted Williams, again, this is what Michael and I were talking about. This was a big deal, this All-Star Game, to prove yourself against the other league. I mean, look at Williams' reaction here. He called this one of the greatest moments of his career, that towering shot in Tiger Stadium to win the All-Star Game for the American League in 1941.
Number 5, July 19th, 1971, Mr. October doing some things in July. This is at Old Tiger Stadium in Detroit. You never saw the ball because it went above the grandstands and hit the Tower of Lights. Yeah, those.
There.
That's how far that ball traveled off the bat of Reggie Jackson.
Just finished his biography today, Reggie. Really good biography. Interesting life, interesting dude. Again, number 4, Bobby Orr. Well, 4 times 2 is 8. And Alex Rodriguez, a youngster at the time, to sign the big deal with Texas. He's saying, listen, we want you to go to shortstop for your final All-Star game. I'll move over to third, where eventually, of course, A-Rod would. And so Ripken, in his All-Star final performance, did that and then did that. The home run as well. He wins the MVP. Multiple All-Star Game MVPs for Ripken.
Number 3, July 10th, 1934. That's Carl Hubbell. He punches out 5 Hall of Famers. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Foxx, Al Simmons, Joe Cronin. He did it in order over 2 innings. That was the second All-Star Game in Major League Baseball history, 1934.
That's right. Again, the seriousness and competitiveness of the All-Star Game. I mean, this is the best example of them all. 1970, Pete Rose rams into Ray Fosse in his home ballpark, Riverfront in Cincinnati, breaking the collarbone. Fosse never really healed correctly after that. It was never really quite the same. Rose and the National League are winners at the All-Star Game.
You would never see that in today's baseball. But number 1, July 13th, 1999, Ted Williams honored at Fenway. And also fitting that Pedro Martinez from the Red Sox wins the MVP that year. Tony Gwynn helping Williams throughout the first pitch. And there's Pedro mowing him down. What a moment it was in Boston, not just for Red Sox fans, but for all baseball fans.
That was a special one.